Right, people, welcome back. Wake and Rake Podcast, episode 9. What a freaking week of baseball. Padres-Dodgers was everything that we could have hoped for. Aaron Nola, 2-hit shutout. I say Aaron because this is the second time we're recording this, and I accidentally said Austin Nola.
They would have never, ever known, Danny. Ever.
I had to call it out. I can't just fake my way through it. Will Middlebrooks, Danny Vietti. And that was a fun week of baseball. I'm still riding a high from that Padres-Dodgers series. I mean,
it felt like a postseason series. Honestly, the talent's there, the intensity's there. Now we just need a full stadium. There were a lot of Padres fans in Petco. It wasn't just Dodger blue, which is especially when I played in San Diego. There was a lot of Dodger blue there, more than 50%. That's not the case anymore. The Padres just want to say, hey, man, we're not little brother anymore. And they played their asses off. They did. But the Dodgers they're just better. I mean, they're just a better team. Now, if you really want to dig into it, the Padres outscored the Dodgers in regulation, 11-10. They had that big, 5-run 12th inning?
That's right.
Which, I mean, they still won the series 2-1, whatever. But I just thought that was a cool stat that they outscored them in regulation.
Yeah.
Yet they lost the series.
We'll get more into it. We got a lot of Dodgers Padres talk. We'll talk about the catch by Mookie. We'll get into some stats too that maybe the Padres should actually feel better than just taking 1-3. Maybe they should feel a little bit. We'll get into it. The Yankees are all of a sudden dog shit. That's 5-10, the worst record in the American League. And then the Oakland A's have won 8 straight after losing their first 6.
It's crazy. There's just some crazy stuff going on right now.
Yeah, baseball, right? And then the Mariners. How about the Mariners, baby? They don't have the best record in the American League. I put it out there that the best record in the American League. Technically, the Royals of all teams have the best winning percentage in the American League. They're 9-5. The Mariners, though, are tied with the Red Sox for the most wins. Excuse me.
Yeah, baby, my Sox.
Your Sox. And so we'll talk about the Sox. We'll talk about the Royals. We'll talk about the Mariners. We're gonna do a little believer, non-believer, or hold. We'll ask my boy Brooksy here whether he's a believer or not with some of these surprising teams. We kind of did it a little bit with the Reds last week. We'll do it again this week because some teams have really bursted onto the scene. San Francisco Giants, by the way, too. Right there.
Nice jersey. I see that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Rowdy Roundup. Let's start it off. Rowdy Roundup presented by Rowdy Energy. Use promo code WAKE and RAKE to get 10% off and free shipping toward Rowdy Energy products. Look, Dodgers, Padres right off the top. You already said it was like a playoff series. And by the way, I had some people kind of mention to me on Twitter saying, Padres are acting as if this is a playoff series and they're going balls to the wall. It's like, let's be real. The Dodgers are doing the same damn thing. They lined up their pitching staff for this series because they knew how important it was. So don't say the Padres are little brother and they're just trying to, take down big brother and they're doing all they can just to even play with these big boys. Like, no. Okay, this was a playoff series on both sides. Both sides were chirping. Kershaw was talking to Profar. Profar was talking to Kershaw. Like, it's both sides. So don't say this was just Padres being, trying to get little victories here. No, this was a playoff series on both sides.
Yeah, you had the bench clear in was that the first night as well? That was the first night.
First night, baby, right off the top.
Yeah. That was as soon as that happened, I was like, oh baby, here we go. I mean, the intensity was there for 2 weeks into the season, a little over 2 weeks. The intensity was there. It did feel like a playoff game, and it felt like every out mattered, every pitch mattered. And it's okay if it's that important to the Padres, because if they're treating it like the World Series, it's because they know they need to win these games against the Dodgers if they want to have a chance at the division, and they think they're good enough and talented enough to win the division. So yes, they are going to treat these games like they're the biggest games of the year, because at the time they are, and they're against the best team in baseball. So you do. That's one of the things too. When you're a team like the Dodgers, you have a huge target on your back. You're going to get the best from everyone you play, and that's why the Dodgers said, "Hey, Padres are this should be a respect thing. Like, we know how good the Padres are. That's why we lined our pitching up so we could beat you." They won the series 2-1. It was a really tight series. I love the pitching matchups. I know we're gonna crap on Snell because he didn't throw 6 innings again. How many times? 34 straight outings, I believe.
34 straight, but he threw well.
He threw really well. 2 earned runs, 2 hits, 7 Ks against the best lineup in baseball, in my opinion. Like 1 through 9. He hasn't. Let's see. He had 10 3-ball counts into the 5th inning. That's why his pitch counts up. He's always been a 3-ball count guy. We saw that all last year, all into the postseason, and that's going to get him up in the 80s, 90 pitches at the 5th and 6th inning, and that's why he comes out. I understand that. He's got to fill the zone, but I think one of the reasons he is so effective is because he is, we'll say, effectively wild, and that curveball has got so much bite. He's got to start it so high to get the strike. So if he wants it to come out and look like a heater, it will be below the zone, and guys are going to take it for balls. He's going to fall behind. That's just how he pitches. And that's not a guy I want to be 3-2 against. It's not a guy I want to be 2-2 against, just because he has such nasty stuff, and he's still effective, but he just throws a lot of pitches. So the pitching matchups were everything we wanted to see. I was so happy with that. Do I feel like it was a rivalry? I know I said I don't think it's a rivalry yet. It's still not a rivalry yet, but it's starting to really, really feel like one.
Yeah, it's got to start somewhere. And by the way, the same people, this is not a shout out. This is to the fun police out there. The same people that are saying they're playing as if it's a World Series are the same damn people that are like, these players don't run down the first baseline. They just jog it out. They get on players for not playing hard enough, but then when they actually do play hard, they criticize them. So that's the last thing I'll say on how hard each of these teams played. And by the way, what a great product for baseball. The fact that both of these teams did play as hard as they did. Mookie Betts laying out in center field. He had diving plays all over the place. You had Profar in left field. You had Tatis, even though he ended up throwing the ball away. I mean, guys were laying their bodies out on the line. Machado was injured, yet he was still out there swiping bags. Yeah. And Machado is not known to be a tough guy. He was out there laying his body out on the line. He played every single game after he was injured.
It meant a lot to these guys, man. And like you said, that's really good for product of baseball and just for the eyes of the fans who, I mean, we're on social media a lot. We see, oh, these players are soft. Guys don't play hard. They don't run hard. I didn't see anybody dog one thing this entire series. And that's, I mean, I expected that. I expected guys to play like it was a postseason game because it might end up being one, actually.
So you said an interesting point. You brought up an earlier point. The Padres actually outscored the Dodgers in regulation in the first 9 innings, which is true because the Dodgers had that 5-run 12th inning in game 1. I got another point to add. The Padres had 35 different opportunities with runners in scoring position. They hit just 7 for 35. That's a 200 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Was that the Padres?
The Dodgers, meanwhile, were 6 for 23 for a 260 batting average. So the Padres actually had 12 more opportunities with runners in scoring position than the Dodgers did. They just didn't cash in. And by the way, in game 1, that game doesn't go to extra innings if Tatis doesn't throw that ball away to unearned runs score. So if you're thinking glasses half full, if you're the Padres right now, you're thinking we had wasted opportunities all weekend long. Our pitching was phenomenal all week. Ryan Weathers, shout out to the 21-year-old
21.
Incredible. First career start, shut him down. Very good showing from Weathers. And then Darvish showed out. The one run before Turner's homer in game 2 was a walk to Kershaw. So the pitching matchups were there. So if you're Padres and you look at the glasses half full, your opportunities were there.
Why are you throwing Kershaw 2-2 and 3-2 breaking ball, by the way?
Good question.
With Mookie Betts on deck.
It's a good question.
I'm going to throw a heater middle, and just take my chances. See how far you can hit this, Kersh. I don't want to face Mookie.
I think Darvish at this point in his career, he's so crafty that sometimes he outthinks himself because he can do whatever he wants.
Well, so I played with him in Texas. He actually said he has better control of his slider than he does his fastball.
I believe that.
So that's why I was like, okay, like maybe he still feels that way, and that's why he threw that there because he felt like he could stay like backdoor it. He's really good at that backdoor breaking ball, and it just missed below the zone a little bit. But he used to say, hey, I have better control of my breaking ball, which is interesting.
Game 2. Let's get into game 2. There's a lot to talk about from game 1, but let's go into the nuances that was game 2. So let's start with Profar because I want to get your perspective as a hitter. Profar sticking his bat out, and he ended up getting catcher's interference. It was initially called a strikeout. Kershaw initially struck him out. Upon review, they called it catcher's interference. Your thoughts?
I got that as George W. Bush League. Hey, man, that was trash. I agree with Kershaw. And number one, the rule is a little hazy there. They were so you can review that. Yet the rule is if it alters the hitter's path to hitting the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The different wording, but that's what came out of my mouth. So the ball was already in the glove before his bat would have hit the ball.
Yep.
So how was that catcher's interference? His swing was so late. That was a 100% E swing. Emergency. Oh my God, that's a strike. I'm going to try to foul this off. Or maybe he did try to hit the glove. I've never heard of anyone actually trying to hit the glove, although I played with Jacoby Ellsbury, who was a master. Master. He stood in the very back of the box, and he had a super deep path anyways, but he would smoke catchers in the forearms. He wouldn't even hit their glove. It was so bad. Catchers would stay back. It was weird, but it wasn't on purpose. It really looked like it, but I highly doubt in that moment that he could purposely do that and think that fast. I think it was just oh shit, that's a strike. I got to foul this off moment.
Especially pre-pitch. Pre-pitch, you're not thinking I'm going to hit the catcher. You're thinking I'm going to try and hit this ball that's coming
approach, and you're trying to look for a pitch and hit it.
Well, especially against one of the greatest pitchers in the game, that is Clayton Kershaw. You're not thinking about trying to hit the glove when you can't even hit the ball.
The thing too is now this is me being a little bit old school, but when Kershaw looked at him and was like, "That's a bullshit swing. That's a bullshit swing," and then Profar's like, "Get the out of here. Get the go sit down." Pump the brakes there, Jurickson.
Yeah, he was embarrassed. Let's be real. He knew he
embarrassed. He got on base.
But he knew you can.
I don't care how embarrassed you are. You're looking at a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's telling you what everyone in the stadium, everyone on the field is thinking is, that was, he shouldn't be on first base for that. Kershaw's a competitor. So is Profar. So it got heated because they're just competitive, and Kershaw was pissed because he gets awarded. He made a great pitch. He struck him out, and he gets awarded first base. So he was pissed off about that. And that's another reason we're saying these guys really, really cared in the series, because if that happens against the Rockies, I doubt either team gives a shit.
No.
Honestly.
Not that much.
Right. Exactly. So I think that was just emotions running high, but just pipe down a little bit, Jurickson. That's respect the man. That's all I'm going to say on that.
So I think, like I said earlier, I don't think pre-pitch you're ever trying to intentionally hit a glove. That said, I think in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, sometimes your subconscious can take over. And so at the very last second, I could see a player, not necessarily Profar, but any competitor, the very last second, just kind of quickly take a stab at it. Your subconscious just works so quickly, so fast.
I think he's trying to foul it off.
Maybe trying to foul it off. Maybe he thought
that's what we call an oh shit swing or an E swing. Oh shit or E swing, emergency swing. Just touch it, foul it off, get lucky.
Yeah.
He was looking off speed. He got heater and was just caught late. Just tried to get a little something on it, and instead he took the Rawlings patch off of homeboy's catching mitt.
I think it's kind of funny too that the players that really hurt the Padres, they weren't the Dodgers stars. It was in the first game, it was Rayleigh. They hit the bomb. It was Seager in the 12th inning later on, but it really wasn't their stars. So ironically,
cooled off a little bit. Seager cooled off a little bit, huh?
Well, until the 12th inning. But it was funny that it was.
I just mean it was general, but yeah.
It was Kershaw and Turner, the two old dudes that are still doing it for him, that are still killing him.
They're leaders. Leaders always rise to the top in big games.
Yeah.
These guys have been in big games before, right? So it's nothing. The term or the phrase, "There's no moment too big. There's no game too big. No moment too big." That's what it was. Your studs, your leaders, your veterans always tend to rise to the top in those situations.
You and Alana on our last show both predicted that the Dodgers would win 2 out of 3, and they did.
Our bad.
How about Mookie's play? Before we move on, we're going to get into the Yankees. We'll get into Oakland. We got a lot of teams to touch on, but your thoughts on, it was a 10% catch probability. Shout out Sarah Langs for that stat. 10% catch probability. The jump this dude got. By the way, for those listening on the podcast platforms, We're going to be available on Apple Podcasts very soon. Just got an update from them sometime this week. So that's
really it's good to know, Danny. You never told me that. Thank you.
It just kind of popped in my head. And then secondly, if you aren't listening on the podcast, you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to be putting up these clips as we're talking about these different subjects so you can get more of a visual look. So the Mookie Betts play, the jump this kid got in center field is incredible. And it's so odd because you look at the Dodgers pre-Mookie, and it was like, what does this team really need to win a World Series? Do they really need a guy like Mookie Betts, a top 2-3 player in the bigs? But all of a sudden, Mookie comes over, and game again, it's like Mookie's the difference maker.
He was in the postseason too. Think of the defensive plays he made, and wasn't he right? He was playing right.
Oh, yeah. He normally had Belly in center, but Belly was out this weekend.
Correct. Yeah. Mookie's in right, and he remember in the postseason he made those two. He made a diving play. He had a catch jumping up on the wall. He's just a difference maker, man. That's why he's as rich as he is. They don't pay just anybody.
That play in center field, somebody, I don't remember who sent this out, but it was kind of a reaching San Diego fan. They were like, was this really a catch? And all the comments were like, it was a catch. Like people, even Padre fans, anybody, like you can't not like Mookie Betts. You can't not. So a lot of the people
There's nothing to dislike about
like it. If it was a dislikable character who made that catch, people would have been like, oh, he dropped it. He faked that catch. That's not a, but people were like, Mookie made that catch.
Roger Dorn in center. Yeah. I get it.
Mookie made that catch.
He caught it in his palm too. That ball just stuck. I don't know how. That was impressive. The catch itself wasn't impressive. It was the jump and the amount of ground he was able to cover in that little amount of time.
Incredible.
And take the correct angle. Like that's a line drives. I've played a little bit of outfield, not center. I played some left. But like when balls are hit on a line, you have like your depth perception of like how hard does that actually hit? You're going off sound. You're going off just exit velo. That's tough, dude. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he is like, what do they call route efficiency? That's what I'm looking for. His route efficiency was like, it had to be perfect, 10% catch probability. But how do you just know the perfect spot? I guess that's why he's one of the best in the game. He just knew the exact spot he needed to get to. Like that. Insane. All right.
Well, if you missed the first three, we got another 3 coming up this next week. So yeah, baby. We got, let me do the math there, 12 more after that. 13.
And this weekend we got Angels Astros, which I think will be a good series as well.
Yeah.
Because those guys are going to be battling for the top of the division as well. So
West Coast to best coast. I'm telling you, best baseball.
Hey, right now, you ain't lying. You ain't.
Let's go to the East Coast and let's talk about why the East Coast is not the best coast. And that's because the New York Yankees have the worst record in the American League. This is the latest they've had the worst record in the American League since 1997, which is kind of good news for them because they ended up three-peating right around that time.
Right.
So
True.
If you're looking for a good omen, I guess that's it. But if you're New York, here's my thing with New York before I get to your reasoning why they're struggling so much. My thing with New York is they might figure out their stuff. They might, Aaron Judge might be healthy and Giancarlo might start hitting the ball and their pitching staff might start pitching well. Correct. But they're boring as shit, man. I don't like the product that they bring to the table. I think they're very old-fashioned.
That's the thing. That's exactly what it is.
And I don't like watching the Yankees. And this isn't this year. I'm not basing this off their 5-10 start. I'm basing this off of the past 2-3 years. I just don't like their product. It's not fun. Like when I turn on a Yankees game, I'm not glued to the TV like I am the Dodgers, the Padres, the White Sox.
Is it because they're not flashy?
Yeah, like I think the Red Sox are more entertaining than the Yankees.
I mean,
that's my personal opinion. That's just me. I just don't like.
Yankees are known for being that old school, first class, no facial hair. Don't pimp homers unless it's a game winner. Put your head down and run. That's just who they are. But it only comes across as a good product when they're winning. Right. Or when Aaron Judge is on the field and hitting 300 and hitting 3 homers a week. Or when Stanton's not hitting 150 or Hicks is not hitting 130. Like, it's just none of that is fun for baseball in the era we're in right now where it's bat flips and flash and swag. And they're not allowed to have any of that, really. And and they're playing shit baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I think their lineup is struggling. I think their lineup will pick it up. But where I don't think it picks up is they're only getting serviceable innings and productive outings from Cole and Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I mean, we knew coming in question marks with Kluber. Handful of innings, 30 some odd innings in the last 2 seasons because of injury. Jameson Taillon coming off his second TJ. Don't know what you're going to get there. Domingo Germán, great spring training. Sucked at the beginning of the season. Sent him to the alternate site. I think Devi Garcia is probably who comes up and fills that role. Great stuff. Dog shit command. We'll see. He's got good stuff. If he can throw strikes, he's good. But at what point is Cashman not on the phone, which he probably already is, thinking, who wants to make a trade? I need a pitcher. Because you're the New York Yankees.
Maybe they should have brought back Tanaka.
They should have, but at that asking price, I don't think. So this brings me to the whole, they made a point to stay under the luxury tax. That's why they didn't bring back Tanaka. They couldn't afford him under the tax, the tax threshold.
But they decided to bring on Kluber.
Yeah, but Tanaka was going to cost them more than 11.
Maybe. I think they prioritize a guy like Corey Kluber than Massa.
I think it was a numbers thing, honestly. I think Massa wanted a 2-year deal, and that's probably why. 2-year, and I don't think they wanted. I think they might have given him a 1-year deal, but I mean Kluber. I saw the video of Kluber's bullpen that all the scouts were at. He was perfect. He was perfect.
Yeah.
Like I understand, but like 11 mil for a guy who you don't know. Could he be a Cy Young guy again? Yeah, he could, but there's a lot bigger chance that he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he is trash all year, but they get to the postseason and he makes 2 or 3 really good postseason starts, all of a sudden, the 11 mil is worth it. That's the Yankees for you, though.
Between Kluber and Taillon, 14 earned runs and 18 2/3. Not going to get
that again.
14 earned runs, 18 2/3 innings pitched.
Diablo. That's not what you're looking for from your 2 and 3. Or I don't even know if they're 2 and 3. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they are. They're 2 and 3. That's how they started the year.
What's your panic meter when it comes to New York? Out of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your panic meter at?
Panic right now?
Too early to panic. So what? Where are you at?
7.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it is. They have issues.
They do have issues. Yeah.
So I would panic now. Patch the hole. Fix it. I guarantee Cashman's trying to make a trade somewhere to bring another arm. You can't lean on Devi. Like, hey, Devi, we know you tend to throw a lot more balls and strikes and get most games you pitch in, but we need you to step up and be our number 4 right now and carry us. Nah. He's a great back end to have there if you need him, but they need a number 3. They need to go get a trade for a number 3 somehow. And I don't think it's going to happen.
The Max Scherzer to New York rumors are already starting.
Of course. Or Max Scherzer to our next team we're about to talk about, if you're ready.
Of course I'm ready. Oakland? I told you Max Scherzer is going to be in American League West uniform.
I can close my eyes and see him just like growling, foaming at the mouth and throwing a game trying to win. Trying to win the division for the Oakland A's.
See, when I picture him, because I just knocked over my microphone. That's how excited I am. When I picture Max Scherzer, it's probably because he's already wearing a red uniform. I picture him in an Angels uniform. I see him in red and white. That's just me. Oakland A's. They went 0-6 to start their season. They've now won 8 straight. Mitch Moreland, his second walk-off hit in the last week. Mitchie 2 bags coming up with Mitchie walk-off. So Oakland's looking dogs barking in the back. He's hyped. I don't know if you guys heard that. A dog is like, my dog Melky back here is hyped up for the A's right now.
Melky.
Oh.
Melky. Have you tested your dog for PEDs?
The reason I named him, a little background on Melky here. The reason I named him Melky is because I got him when Melky Cabrera was an all-star with the San Francisco Giants. He was in line for the batting title. Then about 2 months after I got my dog, Melky Cabrera got popped for PEDs. So
you could have changed the name, honestly.
I could have, yeah.
It's a good dog name.
I considered Buster.
Now would you go with Gabe?
For Kapler?
Gabe the Babe.
Hashtag hire Gabe. What are your thoughts on Oakland and their resurgence?
Well, I wasn't panicked when they were 0-6. We talked about this. I said I thought they'd snap back because they always do. They're always in the mix, dude. They're always in the mix. They've won 9 of 10, 8 straight, started out 0-6. And in that 0-6 span, there were 5 games they had, or 6 games they had 6 or less hits or 1 or 2 runs in that 0-6 start.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that tell me? They ain't hitting. Well, now they are. They're hitting some taters too. Do you have how many taters they have during the win streak?
15.
15. Great stat. Well, let's look at their scheduling too. They went Houston started the season really hot.
Yeah.
All right. Then they went Dodgers. We know how good they are. Houston again played better that series. Took 2 of 3, I believe. Then they went Arizona, poop. Detroit, poopy. And then the next couple weeks they got a couple series against Baltimore, they're not bad. They're competitive actually. But they're not Houston, they're not the Dodgers. I said we can go back and listen. I said let's look up May 2nd, like early first week sometime in May, and they're going to be 500 or above 500.
That's some in-depth analysis. Like that's your CBS Sports HQ talent. Poopy. How the A's been the first poopy?
Am I wrong?
That's what you get paid to do. Poopy.
I would never say that on that show. But this is my show and I could be myself. Excuse me, our show. Sorry about that.
Sean Murphy's still not hitting the ball yet. Jed Lowry is just finding his way once again. Like that guy puts on an Oakland A's uniform and he rakes. He didn't play.
Isn't that weird?
Played 9 games with New York in total in 2 years, and he's hitting 360 this year.
Is he still wearing the minor league like double flap helmet?
I don't know yet. I haven't checked that out yet.
No, yeah, they haven't really aired many Oakland games.
I've been keeping my eye on it. I'm always keeping my eye on Oakland. You know I'm NorCal biased.
Well, that's why I asked you. I thought you might know. So to answer your question, Oakland will be in the mix for this division with Houston and with, I almost said Anaheim. We don't say that anymore. The Angels, Los Angeles Angels. It's going to be a 3-horse race. I don't think Seattle's going to hold on to what they're doing right now. And Texas is not good.
They're doing this all with the struggles of Luzardo persisting too. Luzardo,
yeah, that's like their one elite, in my opinion, their one arm that has a capability of being an elite ace.
Yeah, Jesus Luzardo.
He has the stuff. He's just getting behind, man. If you watch him pitch, he's 1-0, 2-1, 3-1 a lot. So I don't care how nasty your stuff is. If I know you're gonna throw me a fastball because you need a strike, I can hit it. It doesn't matter how hard, how nasty it is. If I know it's coming, I can hit it. So, and that's coming from a career like 230 hitter. So that's the thing. He's got to get ahead. He's got to throw first pitch strikes, and then he can get nasty. He can get nasty if he could just get ahead. You're not going to get swing and misses when you're behind in the count. It's as simple as that for him. Get ahead, and you're going to be successful. But they don't have good arms. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. They don't have great arms. I mean, Bassett's really good at home. Manaya, Frankie Montas.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Montas or Montas?
Frankie Montas.
Okay. Face him in the minor leagues. He throws like 140.
With movement too.
He's nasty, dude. Yeah, he has some down to it. They have I think above average rotation. But you're gonna have to. You got to score runs. You can't play like 2-1 baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like your pitching isn't good enough to hold good lineups down, like Houston, Anaheim, Dodgers. Like you have to play those teams. Padres. You're not going to be able to play 2-1, 3-2 baseball. You're going to have to score 6-7 runs to win ball games. So that's why they struggled so much out of the gate. They weren't hitting. Now they are. Now they're winning baseball games because there's not as much pressure on these guys to be perfect in the start. They don't have a closer either. Let's not forget.
Right.
Hendricks, he got shipped out to the White Sox. So those close games aren't going to be very comfortable when you don't have Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, they've really shored up their defense too.
They did.
They have the least amount of errors in the American League, and a lot of those errors, I believe it's 5, came in that first week and a half.
Elvis can pick it. It hasn't been hitting. He's picking it up a little bit, but I don't know where his average is.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to ask Brooksy here if he's a believer or is he a non-believer when it comes to the Mariners, Red Sox, a couple other teams. Coming up next. Welcome back. Wake and Rake. By the way, 20% off at Mammoth Coolers. All you got to do is use promo code Wake and Rake. Mammoth Coolers, you get 20% off their product. If you're wondering what they do exactly, they are kind of like a Yeti product. So if you're looking
tough, it's just as good, not quite as expensive.
Yeah.
I have, you can't see it down here. I have a massive cooler I take like out on a boat. We'll take on road trips. They make tumblers, to drink out of. They have soft coolers. I love them. They're good stuff.
Mammoth Cooler, 20% off. Believer, non-believer, or hold? Let's start it off. Brooksy, are you a believer, non-believer, or are you holding on the Seattle Mariners, who have the most wins in the American League tied?
Yeah, I'm a non-believer. I just don't think they have.
Hater.
Huh?
Hater.
I'm not a hater. You asked my opinion. I just don't think they sustain this. I think the division. It's mainly because of how the division is built and how strong the division is.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 3 teams that are going to fight for that lead between Oakland, Houston, and the Angels. And I just don't think. I think they're young. I still think they're pretty green. Just lack a lot of like veteran presence on that team. I mean, they have Seager, but I don't know. I just feel like they're pretty young, and that's what's making me not be a believer. I do love what they're doing. They're a solid ball club, but I just don't think they sustain that for 162.
Shout out Mitch Haniger, who's come back from injury and has just been hitting the crap out of it.
I love his swing.
These stats are coming into Sunday, but he's hitting .328 with 4 bombs, 11 ribbies, and he was coming back after 2 years of essentially missing 2 straight seasons. He was an all-star before that. Mitch Haniger's been raking. Yeah, their rotation is – you just don't really – Yusei Kikuchi's looked much, much better. Chris Flexen, who they signed out of overseas, he's been really good too. So is it sustainable? I don't know, but I like the Mariners. They're exciting. To see T-Mobile Park up there, it's loud, man. Those fans –
Oh, it is. It's a fun place. Best batter's eye in baseball, by the way. It's a huge batter's eye, and it's like matte black. It's not just painted like regular black like most of them. Mm-hmm. It's matte black. So when the sun shines in there, it doesn't glare off of it. So the shadows they're not as bad there when you're playing like day games, like the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Sometimes there's a line in the field.
Right.
You still get that, but most of the time the sun is shining on the batter's eye and it's super bright and you can't pick up the ball. You don't get that there.
What's the worst place to hit visually, optically?
For shadows?
All the above. Shadows, background, like even pitching sometimes. Like for me, I had
dude, honestly, Fenway could be tough on some day games because they would only put that tarp. They put that tarp in center field, which righties would throw out of it. So lefties would be good, and I'd be good against righties. But lefties would come out of the people.
Right.
And it's like all these white t-shirts. I'm like, where's strike? Cool. All right.
The people.
Yeah. Next.
Believer, non-believer. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but believer, non-believer, a hold on the Boston Red Sox. Both sides.
I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold. I'm not totally sold because I don't really trust their starting pitching yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're a fun team. They're having fun. They got hot. They have Xander Bogaerts, who I think is one of the best shortstops in baseball. They have 2 Swiss Army knives in Kike and Marwin. Yeah. Which that's huge when you're building lineups. It's huge going 162 when guys get hurt. And if those guys are healthy, you can plug them in wherever you need. And they can play 2 weeks at one position if you need them to, if someone's hurt. They can both play shortstop. They can both play center field. Like they can both play first. That's such an advantage for them. But they're getting productive outings out of Nick Pivetta, which is he's their 5, I believe. Right? So he was the one that they had the most question marks with.
Yeah,
Martin
Eovaldi, Pivetta. This is according to Baseball Reference. And keep in mind, rotations nowadays, they don't really have numbers attached to them.
Right.
But it goes Eovaldi, Pivetta, Garrett Richards, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Martin Perez.
Okay. So, okay. He in their minds, he's not their number 2. That's just how it lined up because of Eddie's dead arm at the beginning of the season. But, and then they're going to get Sale back, hopefully in June. Probably get 10, 12 starts out of them. That's very optimistic of me, to say 10 to 12 starts, but he could be himself. I watched him playing catch the other day, and it looks the same. It doesn't look like he changes mechanics and all that. So excited to see him back. Their offense is hitting right now. JD Martinez is back. He bangs. It's good. He was hit 200 last year, so it's good to see him back. And he's got, I don't even know what his numbers are right now, honestly. This is the last time I looked at his numbers. It was like 3 or 4 days ago.
JD's in 367 this is coming into Sunday, 367, 5 dingers, 17 ribbies.
Okay, so the last couple of days, I don't think he's got it because he was hitting like 450.
Yeah, he sucks. He's only hitting 367.
Trash. No, but as a whole, their lineup, they're just playing good baseball right now. The bullpen, Ottavino hasn't been great. He's been okay, but Matt Barnes has been flat out nasty at the back end. So, can they sustain it? I'm going to hold because I don't know. I think if the Yankees continue to suck, that helps a lot. But I see the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Rays kind of very equal as far as win total, which is low to mid 80s. So if the Yankees continue to suck, that helps everybody out. Baltimore's actually, they can still beat you. We saw that. They swept the Red Sox to start the year. So they're competitive. They're not just going to roll over and die either. But yeah, a lot of the division I still think the Yankees end up winning the division right now. It's early. I think their lineup figures it out and can carry some of the average pitching in between Cole and Montgomery. And I think the lineup just has to pick it up, period.
Yeah, it's been 15 games. Every team goes through a 15 game.
Yeah, but that's why we get paid to do what we do, is to overreact.
Right.
It's fun because that's what fans do, and that's what we do, and it's fun to talk about. So I'm going to hold on the Red Sox. Really like them. I want to believe in them. I'm just not there yet.
One note about Boston that might give you pause. They have the highest batting average on ball and play at 339.
BABIP,
which is one of your favorites. So, and after that's the Washington Nationals at 329. The Nationals are not exactly.
They stink.
Great. So, point being, I think it's a good idea to hold on the Red Sox because I think they're outperforming. Let's see what happens when the law of averages works itself out. Believer, non-believer, or hold on the Kansas City Royals, who have the best winning percentage in the American League.
We've liked the Royals since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You were very high on them. You said, hey, look out for them. They're going to be good. And I was like, yeah, we'll see.
Competitive.
You're right. You're right. To this point, you nailed it. They look good, man. They're like a fun team to watch, too. They're scrappy. I love that. I like saying they're scrappy, but that's what they are. I don't think they have enough to compete with the Twins and the White Sox through a whole season.
So you're a non-believer.
I'm a non-believer. I just don't think they're there yet. I think they have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going true like small market talent right now. But
you're waiting for a boy Bobby Witt to come up. I know it.
Bro, I love me some Bobby Witt.
Bobby Dahlbeck and Bobby Witt. Like I picture you, like if you had a locker, you would have posters and pictures of Bobby Witt and Bobby Dahlbeck.
Put me right in between the Bobs.
Yeah. You love Bobby.
Dude, I'm a big Bobby guy.
You love Bobs.
Hey, Bobby Witt is nasty. All right. Whenever they're done messing with his service time, let's get him up. All right.
They did not mess with his service. He hasn't had that bat in the minor leagues.
Dude. I'm just talking shit because I can. I just want to see him in the big leagues because I think he belongs there. I think talent is ready. Like, what else do you need from him? Does he need to be more seasoned? Like, put him in the show, sell his jerseys, and give him a better number than 84. Didn't he wear like 84 in spring training?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he did. But let me ask you this. I want to say this and not be insensitive toward minor league players, but this question has been kind of circling in my mind lately, especially with service manipulation. What if Major League Baseball just, and I don't want this, I love minor league baseball, but what if Major League Baseball just went away with minor leagues? And they had like a G League type thing.
No.
They just had like a development league. So for like one team and you fill those, because look, the people I've talked to within the minor leagues are great and it's good. You know, you get income for different cities and it's great, but 90% of those players are holding spots to create a competitive environment for the actual top prospects. They're not there to make the big league team.
Right. I think it's just developing players, dude. I think honestly it takes there's a ton of people that make the big leagues that aren't Bobby Witt. There's like people don't have talent like that. Guys develop over years. And I think working yourself up a ladder and progressing in talent level as you get better and better, improve yourself is very good for developing baseball players. Not only physically, but mentally. Just my opinion. I think minor leagues is great I don't think you should get rid of it. No, I don't. I think it's part of what makes baseball great is because the big leagues is considered baseball heaven if you're a baseball player. If you don't have to grind to get there, it's like it's not as good.
Yeah.
If you don't play several years in A-ball eating peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and fluff sandwiches pregame for 6 straight months, or going to 1 a.m. Applebee's because they're open and just eating whatever you can on your $12 of meal money every day. It's like you got to grind through that, and then you get to the show. It is all worth it. But it puts the big leagues on a pedestal, which it should be. So I don't know. I'm rambling now, but getting rid of the minor leagues would be terrible for developing players.
I agree.
On multiple levels.
I will say this. I couldn't agree more. That said, I think we baby some of these top prospects.
Of course they do.
Pull them up. Like, you don't need to start Bobby Witt Jr. in low A ball.
God.
I'm using
what's crazy? You know what's crazy, though, is some of these guys like that, they'll perform better in the big leagues than they do in A ball.
It's weird. Some guys just develop differently, you know? Brett Gardner was a walk-on at College of Charleston. They didn't even want him on the team. He talked his way onto the team. He ends up becoming a MLB, World Series champ with the Yankees and their team leader. So,
dude, A-ball, the minor leagues are like when you would go down and do a rehab assignment in triple A or double A. It's tough because number one, you're a big leaguer there. You're getting everyone's best, and you haven't played in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the pitchers have just as good stuff in the minor leagues. They just don't have control. And that makes you so uncomfortable as a hitter. I remember I would go down on like rehab assignments and you're thinking, even going to play A-ball. Like there's 18-year-old Dominican throwing 100, but he'll hit the backstop and then dot you up down and away the next pitch. And it's so uncomfortable. Like, you go to the big leagues, they're going to be around the zone. At least you're ready to hit. You're not worried about losing your life. So it's like, it's hard to go down. So he will probably perform better at a higher level than A-ball. It's weird. Yeah.
We rambled way too long there, but believer, non-believer, let's get back to where our discussion point here. Believer, non-believer hold on the Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, Aaron Nola, 2-hit shutout, 10 Ks against St. Louis. If you don't think he's an ace, look at your numbers.
Game.
What?
Complete game
shutout. Pitchers since 2017 with 110 or more starts, 750 or more strikeouts, and less than a 3.30 ERA. Jacob deGrom, this is since 2017. Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, Aaron Nola. End of list. He's an ace, folks.
I mean, I played in spring training with him in 2018. He's maybe the most laid-back human being I've ever met in my life. You walk down the street, you would never know he's one of the nastiest guys in the big leagues. Yeah, that was good to see. I love that guy. I'm a believer of the Phillies.
We need a little like button, like believer.
We'll work on that.
We need sound effects on that show. That's what we need.
Listen, we're not even 3 weeks in. all right, to this podcast, we will have all kinds of stuff by the end.
You know
of
what I'm going to do? There's an Imagine Dragons song called Believer. It's like Believer, Believer. I'm going to add that in post-production to this podcast.
I can't wait for that. So the Philadelphia Phillies, the lineup's been there. Lineup's very good. The starting pitching has been surprisingly pretty good. Zach Eflin's looked good. But their issue was their bullpen. They had one of the worst bullpens in baseball last year. Went out, got Archie Bradley. Why am I blanking on this other name?
Jose Alvarez?
Yes. The super sinker lefty.
Jose Alvarado.
I knew you were talking about Alvarado. Yeah, he was with the Rays. So all of a sudden their bullpen looks decent, so they're able to be in close games, late innings, and hold a lead or stay close. Like, that's huge, man. When your bullpen, your bullpen can go out and not give up 5 runs. That's such an advantage to your offense to know, okay, if we go score a couple runs, we can win a big league ball game here. And that was the biggest thing, was shoring up that bullpen, because that hurt them so bad the last couple of years, last 3 years really. So I'm a believer, and I think they are just as capable of winning this division as the Mets and the Braves right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of things that can shake out, injuries, all that goes into a full season. But right now, it's a flip of a coin who can win this.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that was going to happen in this division. I thought the Phillies would be this good, but is it sustainable? I think the Mets will get much better than they have been. They've still been playing good baseball, but I think the Mets are going to really make a step forward in this division. And I think the Phillies will be right there. Honestly, just like the AL West, it's going to be a 3-team race, and the Phillies are going to be in the mix for the division.
Don't sleep on my Marlins.
I'm going to sleep on your Marlins.
Last one, believer, non-believer, or hold on the San Francisco Giants, who are ahead of the Padres in the division, by the way. Yeah, no West.
Do you want to answer this for me?
I'm not making the case that they're better than the Padres. I'm just simply saying they're the Boston Red Sox of the West Coast.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Heinblum and Farhan Zaidi, they're two guys that rely on analytic. They get
every time you say Zaidi, it makes me want like pasta.
Yeah.
Let me get a bowl of Zaidi. Some Alfredo sauce.
A bowl of Farhan. I would love a bowl of Farhan Zaidi.
I'm not a believer. I do think I'm glad they're competitive just for like the California rivalries going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a believer. I just don't think they have the talent to keep up with the Dodgers and the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I love that they're playing good ball. I honestly haven't paid much attention to them. I haven't really looked at their schedule. How's their strength of schedule been?
So their wins have come against mostly Colorado, who's not a good team. Yet they beat the Padres 2 out of 3 times.
I remember that. Okay. Yeah.
Who else did they beat?
Oh, Cincy.
Cincinnati. Thank you. Cincinnati. And then they beat Cincinnati 2 out of 3. So
okay, so they beat some good teams.
Yeah, there's some good teams, some bad teams mixed in. And
was Cincy at home? Does it say?
It was at home.
Yeah, dude. East Coast to West Coast. Every time we would go on like a 10-day West Coast trip, we'd lose like 7 or 8 of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's something with the travel, man. It would just throw us off.
Time difference.
Yeah, I know it sucks. The first couple of days would be brutal, but it's like we couldn't get our feet back under us.
Yeah.
So that could play into it too. I'm not a believer. I do like them. Huge Gabe Kapler fan. Guy has at least 10 abs. It's pretty impressive. He does like full CrossFit.
Has that guy ever eaten a burger or
intermittent fasting, keto coffee? Like, this guy is the real deal. He's probably under 5% body fat as we speak.
Has he ever eaten a slice of pizza or a burger in his entire life?
I think I don't know if Greek gods are into that. He's not Italian. He's more of a
eased up on the Greek god.
Tzatziki sauce guy.
He's not exactly a Greek god when it comes to handling the bullpen. Okay.
Damn. I'm talking about his body, Dan.
Well, I'm talking about The way he's used his bullpen in the past couple of years has not been fantastic.
Well, he didn't really have much to work with in Philly, bullpen wise. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
So no, I'm out on the Giants. I love what they're doing, but I'm out on them. I don't think they have enough to compete in that division. Not yet. Not yet.
Counterpoint. Mike Yastrzemski is hitting 167, and they're still winning without.
Come on, Yaz.
Okay, we got one final segment. Quick segment. We're going to take our break first. I'm going to give you Danny's Daddy of the Week. Coming up next.
Daddy.
New segment. Danny's Daddy of the Week. Yes, I came up with that by myself.
Not my idea.
My idea. 100%. Aaron Nola, 2-hit shutout, 10 Ks against St. Louis. He's everything that Philadelphia needs in order for them to compete for an NL East division title. They don't have starting pitching depth necessarily, but they've been criticizing Aaron Nola because he's not a prototypical ace because he doesn't throw 99. He doesn't throw 98. But you know what? He's an absolute ace because he gets the job done. He's up there with DeGrom and Garrett Cole since 2017. I laid out the numbers earlier on the show. His numbers do not lie. He's up there with Scherzer. He's up there with some of the biggest arms in the game. Yeah. But he doesn't get the acclaim that most pitchers get because Philadelphia hasn't made the playoffs since 2011.
Since
I believe it's 2011. He hasn't been on the biggest stage yet, but he's been showing out ever since he got to the big leagues and never gets the attention he deserves. He's Danny's Daddy of the Week. Do you have a Daddy of the Week, Brooksy?
I might. I mean, I wasn't aware of that you created your own segment.
Throwing your curveball.
So you put me on the spot. I'm gonna go Sean Kazmar. Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Ever heard of him?
Very cool story.
Okay, dude. Last time he was in the big leagues was 2008. All right. I was 1 year removed from high school. Think about that. He grinded through 12 full seasons of the minor leagues after being in the big league. Listen, there's nothing worse than being in the big leagues and then getting sent back to the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is worse. 12 years? How did he not quit and just say, hey, I'm going to go be a regular human being, get a job that actually pays me some money because I need money to live and support my family. He grinded through 12 years in the minor leagues and now he's back and they gave him number 53. What dickheads. Give him number 12. I don't care who's wearing it. Change your number.
Why do they do that? Honestly, they always give players 84.
I don't know. It's like you don't have much big league time, so you're going to be a left guard.
Yeah, like they
what?
have other.
Why are you giving me number? I was number 64.
With who?
With Boston.
You were 11. Oh no, 60. You were 16. You were 16.
My rookie year, I was 64. Learn your freaking co-host one time. My whole rookie year, I wore 64. You know who else wore 64 as a rookie for them? Dustin Pedroia. They had faith in me. I let them down.
Oh man.
Hey man. Yeah, I was the big 6'4", and I raked in 64. People were mad at me when I changed my number to 16. They're like, "You should have kept 64." I should have. Yeah. I should have. That's like I think in the NFL, like most centers wear 64.
Yeah.
Not really.
They looked at your body type and they're like, lineman.
Yeah, he's a lineman.
He's a little pudgy.
Look at those childbirthing hips. He's my daddy.
Sean Kazmar.
Daddy of the week. All right, we'll go with it.
It's my segment. I can decide what.
I like it. We can. I think you just because you have such a hard on for the Padres that you just wanted to use the American or the English version of Padres. Daddies.
I don't have a hard on for the Padres.
I mean, you have a Giants jersey on. So.
It's true.
All right. Let's let these people live their lives. We'll talk to them soon.
Yep. We'll talk to you later this week. We'll got more episodes. We'll have more giveaways too. Whenever Brooksy's feeling a little tipsy.
Mucho giveaways coming. Follow us. Once we get to 1,000, I got cleats. I got bats. I got signed box fans.
That's fun.
No, I don't have TVs. I need those. I got an Xbox that doesn't work. I'll sign it too. I don't care. Got a little dust on it.
Yeah, because
Hey, no, we're giveaways. If you guys are listening to us and you're following us, we want to reward you for that. We appreciate your love. So, more giveaways coming soon.
For the people listening on Monday, have a good rest of your Monday. For the people listening here that couldn't get enough baseball on a Sunday, have a good rest of your week. Adios.